My first advice to salespeople is to have what I call joyful inquisitiveness. You want to be inquisitive about everything that's happening around you. That's how you spot opportunities. And you don't do it because it's part of your job. You do it because there's joy in being inquisitive. The second thing, and this is very important, is to respect research. The best salespeople that I have met in my life, they, I think, would make first-rate PhD candidates for applied research. Applied research, okay, not basic research. Sales folks should not do basic research. Today, it's an interconnected world, it's a complex world, it's a world continuously in movement. So you want to be up to date with your research, and you need to understand all the research tools so that you can zero in on your customer with precision, and you can build solutions that are important and useful and valuable for your customers. It all goes to research. The third thing I think that's very, very important for salespeople is to enjoy people. You can't not enjoy people and be in the business of sales. And that enjoyment is about authenticity. You want to exude authenticity. So great salespeople enjoying people not as a fake put on, but in an authentic manner, because that endears people. The next thing that's very important for salespeople is always remember that there's a reason why God has given us 2 eyes, 2 ears, and only 1 mouth. So you need to see more, listen more, and talk less. Don't go and kill your prospect or your customer with talk, talk, talk. Listen, listen, listen. Great salespeople are great listeners. Once you listen, you begin to understand, you begin to actually think about what I call the unstated needs of the customer. The unstated needs of the customer is really where the pot of gold is. If you can solve that, the customer is yours for the rest of your life. Next issue is to take it out of your mind that you can just push your product or service as it is, straight from the assembly line. Today's customer is very sophisticated. She wants you to co-create the future for her. So bring the customer into the solution process and make the customer feel that she had a part to play in the solutioning process. So that ability comes actually from imagining things which don't exist. So I tell the good salespeople should all the time be conjuring solutions in their mind without a problem. So you want to create many different simulated scenarios, and lo and behold, something just pops up as innovative, interesting, the customer influences the process, and there you move from selling to being a trusted advisor. You are helping to architect a future that doesn't exist and the customer is proud of. The great salespeople that I have met in my life, they are great negotiators. But most of us dread the idea of negotiation. We think that this is what I am offering to the world, and it is the world's job to take it on its face value, pay me whatever I'm asking for. The moment somebody says that I want to negotiate, we see this as a blockage, and we see it as an irritation, and there is some amount of hesitation. Now, it is also a reason why a lot of people don't come into the selling act, whether or not they're salespeople, because through that process of negotiation, they feel that there is a possibility that you might get rejected. Rejection will be the outcome. Whereas negotiation is a tool to jointly create a state that doesn't exist and potentially a higher state. So negotiation is a dance. You draw the customer into it. Sometimes the customer draws you into it. So it is a tango that you do. It is not me against you. It is not a rope pulling exercise. So good salespeople, they look at negotiation as an easy, enjoyable process. Next is the issue of closing, and this is a bane. A lot of people don't know where to say, now it is the time, can we sign on the dotted line? That requires self-confidence. Not just a demand, but a self-confidence, an emotional self-confidence, the ability to look in the customer in the eye and say, okay, Now let's do it. Because you deep inside of you believe that it is the right thing for the customer to do. Then there's a very important one, and this is the ability to see everything in context, to understand the big picture. A lot of salespeople don't get it. The customer is part of a larger environment. The customer is dealing with their customers and their suppliers, and the customer's customer's customer is changing. And what you see is a ripple effect. Customer, supplier, supplier is changing. So once you know, understand the big picture, then you are able to see how the solution that you create will help the customer to do her job better. So that requires ability to see the big picture, which is a right brain ability. So salespeople, to be great, need to actually understand how the human brain works, your brain and the customer's brain. And you need to understand the interplay of the left brain and the right brain as much as you need to understand what is called amygdalic responses a customer may have. And that is all about what we call the emerging neuroscience of selling. Finally, good salespeople need to understand the power and importance of gratitude. It is gratitude that makes you different from the rest of the crowd. When you practice gratitude, your customer comes back for more. When you practice gratitude, the entire universe conspires to bring in new prospects, to bring in new ideas, to bring in collaborators, because many times it's not me, myself and I have to depend on the larger organization, the R&D folks, the production folks, the after-sales service folks. It is an orchestra. It's a jam session. And all of you have to jam together, so the customer says, wow,